Hello everyone. This video covers the explanation and critical analysis of two stories about flying. The first story is named as His First Flight, which is written by Liam of Lahadi. The reader comes to know about a young seagull bird who is afraid to fly. It feels that its wings are not strong enough to make it fly, but somehow he overcomes this fear and finally was able to fly with the help of his mother's strategy. All of us face the fear when we try to get into something new, when we venture into something new. But if we are not afraid to face it, we will definitely achieve success in life. The story of the seagull's successful maiden flight has been beautifully narrated in this story. The next story is named as The Black Aeroplane, which is written by Frederick Forsyth. The readers would get to know about a pilot who is on his flight back home to England from Paris. The story narrates the incident that happens on the way, how the pilot gets into the storm and escapes death miraculously with the help of the pilot of the black mysterious aeroplane. This story also highlights the importance of positive thinking, because whatever you imagine may turn out to be real is something that has been highlighted in this story. Let's now quickly move towards the explanation of our first story, His First Flight. To dominate the fear is the central idea of the story. In this particular story, the writer has highlighted how the hurdles and anxieties in life, if overcome, lead to success. Overcoming personal fears and scares is what constitutes moving ahead in life. This is what author has tried to convey through this wonderful story. It is truly said that every 1,000-mile journey is not made in just a single day, but a single step is what things have to start with if we wish to achieve a big success in life. It is true that the first step is the toughest for every person to take, but if one takes the first step without fear, keeping the fear aside, then the person is on the way to success. Once we conquer our own fears and the personal anxieties, there is no looking back for us. We'll now move towards the theme of the story. The theme of the story is hesitation, trial and error, and finally getting success in the end. This story is really interesting as a hesitant and a timid seagull learns the art of flying, while his two brothers and sister had already learned flying. This little seagull was hesitant, and this hesitation and fear stopped him from doing so. But finally, out of hunger, he dives at the fish because he was desperate to eat something. And as he dives at the fish, he goes down. But he realizes that he was not going down, but his wings have actually supported him and he was flying in the air. So this hunger proves to be a blessing in disguise for the timid seagull. Finally, after a shaky start, he was able to spread his wings and fly upward in the sky, which helped him make his first flight. Let's now move towards the summary of the story, His First Flight. As I have already told you, the story is about a young seagull who was perching at the ledge when all his siblings have gone with his parents to feed themselves. This young seagull ledge looks down in a desperate manner at the huge sea that is covering the entire horizon. The young seagull was very hungry. His parents have flown away with his little sister and the two brothers, leaving him all alone on his rock without any food. All of them were able to fly, but he could not. He tried n number of times to run forward till the edge of the rock, but he kept flapping his wings. But all his efforts went in vain, as he was so scared of flying. He just sat there waiting for his parents to bring food for him. He was already convinced by now that his wings would not be able to support his weight, and thus he stopped even trying. His parents had really tried a lot of times to teach him how to fly, but even they stopped trying altogether. Now the condition was this: the seagull was feeling really hungry and he was dying out of hunger. Sitting on his ledge, he was looking at his mother. His mother thought of an idea. What his mother did was, his mother started tearing a piece of fish with her beak. And as the seagull saw his mother tearing the fish with her beak, he got crazy. He saw the food, and this made him even hungrier. He cried at his mother, but the mother only mocked at him and ignored him. Suddenly the young seagull saw that his mother was flying towards him with a piece of fish in her mouth. The young seagull was really happy. But at the last moment, the mother stopped and she kept the fish away from the little seagull's grasp. The young seagull could not control his hunger, and out of desperation, he made a dive at the fish. But as he made the dive at the fish, the mother flew straight upwards and the little seagull kept falling down. This led him to overcome his fear, and suddenly he realized that he was in fact flying above in the air. Finally, the little seagull learned flying with the help of his mother's strategy. He was successfully able to fly because out of desperation, he made an attempt, and as he made his first step, he was able to achieve success. Now we'll move towards the critical appreciation of this story. Liam of Lahadi was known to be a huge observer of natural life at sea, and he held the firm opinion that human beings can always learn a plenty from the natural world around them. Therefore, he provided a more humane dimension to the problem that the seagull faced. All the human beings are reminded of their own fears, and once they face the fear, they see a totally different version of their own self. The best person out of their own self is seen only when they come out of their comfort zone and try something new. His first flight is the story about independence, self-confidence, and self-reliance that human beings and animals should possess in case if they aim to succeed in life. It is truly said that necessity is what leads to inventions. If you are desperate to satisfy your needs, you would definitely invent something. But you need to have that ardent desire from inside, which would help you and motivate you to take the first step and venture into a new thing. Metaphorically, this story has the belief that every person needs to be independent, even if the person is living with his family members. Because these family members, our parents, can help us only to a certain extent. But after that, it is us who have to face everything in life. Our parents, our teachers can only guide us, our friends can only guide us, but the real storm has to be faced only by us. Therefore, it is important to keep the fear aside. The only thing that you should fear is the fear itself. if you're not afraid of anything, nothing is impossible for you. And in case if you fear things, you are a coward and you'll never be able to enjoy the eternal happiness of independence, of self-dependence. This story also shows how motivation for people help them overcoming their fears. As the young seagull was motivated to eat the fish which was in his mother's beak, and as out of hunger the little seagull dived at the fish and the mother flew upward and he fell down, he was able to flap his wings, and in order to save himself, he finally tried to fly and he was able to fly. Finally, he was able to succeed because he made his first attempt. The author in this story provides a solution for overcoming our obstacles and problems, and this is to get motivated on your own, to be a self-motivated person. This is all about the critical appreciation of the story, His First Flight. Now we'll see the message that the author wants to give to the readers through this story. The author gives a message that no one attains success instantly in a moment. Only after n number of trials and errors, a person achieves success. If we are courageous enough to face the fear of falling down, we get up once again. This is only which helps us achieve success. Success cannot be achieved by sitting idle. Only courageous people will experience the happiness of success. The inner strength of the person is always helpful in overcoming the difficult situations in life. So it is always very important for us to maintain our inner strength, to not be dependent on anyone, but to believe in our own strength is something which is really important for any person. Through this story, the writer conveys the moral of having self-confidence, self-reliance, and being independent. If we are able to be independent, we all will start flying in our own life, and there would be no looking back for any one of us. Now we move towards the second story. This story is named as The Black Aeroplane. This is a wonderful story that will inspire all the readers to do great things in life. Also, this story highlights a very important value, which is to stay positive all the times, because you never know when your thoughts will turn into reality. If you think bad things would be seen by you, bad things would be experienced by you. But if you are positive in life, if you think about all the good things, then you will experience the good times in your life. The Black Aeroplane is the story of a pilot, and this pilot is the narrator of the story. So the pilot himself is narrating his own story when he was stuck in the storm and he was desperate to go and meet his family in England and enjoy the English breakfast with them. And as he was stuck in the clouds, the mysterious black aeroplane helped him come out of the storm and land safely. Let's now move towards the summary of the story. The narrator, who is a pilot, narrates that he was flying an old Dakota aeroplane to England from Paris, and it was the time of midnight. He was dreaming of spending the holiday with his family, and at the same time he desires to have a good English breakfast with his family members. The next morning he lands at England. But as he enters the storm clouds on his way ahead, he did not turn his plane back to Paris because he was desperate to meet his family. And in this desperation, he took the risk to get into the storm. As he got into the storm, the clouds were very large and they were shaped like mountains. The narrator took the risk and entered into these clouds. Immediately, black, and he could not see anything around him. The mystery lies in the fact that the writer was really sad because he was running out of fuel, as the last tank of fuel was left in his Dakota aeroplane, and he was stuck in the black clouds. All the instruments, the compass, the radios were dead, and he was not able to get any replies from the Paris control room. But suddenly he saw a ray of hope as a strange black aeroplane with a mysterious pilot was just right in front of him. But this black aeroplane did not have any lights on its wings. The pilot who was in the black aeroplane waved his hand to the narrator and asked him to follow his route. After that, the narrator kept following the pilot of the black aeroplane. This mysterious pilot was the one who guided the narrator out of the black clouds and the storms and onto the runway, where he was able to finally land his plane safely with all the passengers. As he landed, he quickly left the plane and did not think of the passengers, and he ran into the control room because he wanted to thank the pilot of the black aeroplane. But when he inquired at the control room, the woman present at the control room informed the awestruck narrator that there was no other plane spotted on the radar that night. And the story ends with this mystery. The readers might have a lot of questions in their mind. Who was this mysterious pilot? Was in the major calamity, or it was a friendly spirit, or it was writer's own imagination that helped him come out of the difficult situation that he was stuck into. The chapter ends with this mystery, and this leaves a lot of interesting perceptions with the readers to ponder upon. There are a lot of keywords which have been used by the narrator in this story. The first one is compass. To make you understand compass, it is a navigational instrument which is used for finding out the directions. Generally, the pilots use compasses when it comes to finding the directions up in the air. Runway is a large road which is used by aeroplanes for landing at airports. The pilots also use this runway to take off and start flying. Radar is a system which uses radio waves for discovering the positions of things which are unseen by the human eye. This radar helps in finding out the exact flying position of an aeroplane in the air. It is used by the control room to predict the position of an aeroplane in the air. So this is about the keywords. We are already done with the explanation of the two stories, and now it is the time for assignment. There are two questions, one from each story, which is to be attempted by all of you. If you attempt to all these questions, you would be able to imagine and think about various new things as and when you frame your answer. Have a good time doing your assignment. Think of something creative and come out with the most creative writing. Thank you so much. It was a great time explaining you all.